You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello, and welcome to the Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about when in life you need to stand up for yourself. Maybe you feel others are picking on you. Maybe life is just not going the way you had planned, and you need to be more assertive and say, hey, listen, I need to get this back on track. Whatever that is, today is the day that you take that stand, that you let yourself be propelled to where you want to go in life. We're also going to be joined in our next segment by Jeffrey Desovic, who was wrongfully, convicted of rape and murder charges at 17, spent years of his life in prison. How did he come out and still desire to live his life full out and not feel jaded? He's going to share his story with us. Of course, we'll be taking your calls. That number is 800-333-0001. Again, 800-333-0001. If you want to hear today's show again, feel free to go to livingfullout.com. Click on our radio show tab. All the episodes will be waiting there for you. We also have several listeners that listen on the go. So if you want to go to your app store and find Living Full Out Radio, you can hear us at the gym or in the car. And I just recently got an Alexa, and we are on Alexa as well. Just look out for Living Full Out Radio. So we just want to make sure to keep you motivated in every way that we can. In fact, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hello, welcome to Living Full Out Show.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for calling in. How can we help you today?
So I have a large family. I'm like one of five, and my parents are divorced, and they both got remarried. And I have my college graduation coming up this spring, but I only have a limited amount of tickets, I think about 4, and I have no idea who to give them to without offending anyone. So, yeah.
You know what? I'm raising my hand because I have so been there. I'm the youngest of 3, and I remember seeing my first sister get married. Again, divorced parents, both remarried. It was kind of horrendous trying to put those family pictures together. So I get it when you're trying to choose from so many people. First of all, I would ask your parents, number one, okay? Because, you know, there's 2 tickets out of 4, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, you can either decide, you know, who would enjoy being there the most, you know, who would, benefit from that. And I say that because some siblings may want to be there and support, but they might roll their eyes and be like, this is so long, and, you know, when is this over, right? They're doing it to support you, but they really wish they could be somewhere else, right? So those folks, you know, you might enjoy having them come to your celebration, you know, dinner or party, but, you know, save that spot for someone who really would be inspired by seeing you and others graduate. If that is still a hard choice, then I say you make it a lottery, right? Put a bunch of names in a hat and then pull them out. And then that way you're not playing favorites. It's really destiny at that point.
Right.
And if you do that, you know, you'll have the right people there, because then it'll really be whoever picks those names, whoever's chosen, they were meant to be there. Is that something you could try?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, make it fun, you know, and for all the people who didn't win, you can give them a consolation prize of a pamphlet with your name on it, okay?
Perfect.
So, but have fun with that. Congratulations on graduating, and thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Have a great day.
You do. You too. Thank you. And I love that she asked that question, right? Because sometimes we have to stand up for ourselves. We have to say, okay, listen, I only have 4 tickets. I have 12 people in my family, whatever that looks like. And you have to make some tough calls. But that's what life is, right? We have to be willing and able to make decisions when we get to those crossroad moments in life. And just as I told that caller, you know, I grew up with divorced parents. I've had a lot of moments in my life where I've wanted to have everybody be there with me, but sometimes they can't. And so you want to think about, in your life today, where do you need to stand up for yourself? Where do you need to tell people, listen, I would love for you to be at my graduation, but I need it to go this way instead? Or maybe other people are putting expectations on you or are saying that you can't do something. But in your heart, in your soul, you know you can. You got to stand up for yourself and say, hey, listen, I believe in myself. It's okay if you don't, but I know I can do this. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we have another caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, thank you for calling in. I'm doing great. What's going on today?
Yes. Well, I used to love to exercise, and I wanted to get back into that rhythm and make time to exercise more. But my problem is that when I come back from work and school and all my other responsibilities, either I don't have enough time, or by the time I get home, I'm just too tired to want to do any exercise. And I was wondering if you have any advice to maybe get myself in the right mind to work out, or just get myself to do it, or to even make time to work out.
I want you to know that I get it. I am so with you, because it sounds like you have more energy beginning of the day than end of the day. Is that right?
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why I get it. I'm that same way. And what I learned in my life, and this may sound a little zany, but it's just what is. You have to be realistic with your day. So if you have, say, a 9-to-5 job, and you know you're pretty much committed for an 8-hour, 10-hour day sometimes, then you have to look at when you have the most energy in the day. And if that is mornings, then you have to budget in that working out early. I know for myself, and I know when I say this, it sounds a little wild, but my day literally starts at 7 a.m. Pacific time. And so I've learned over time that when I want to carve out Nancy time, working out, just kind of vegging out, you name it, I got to start early. And sometimes for me, that is 4 a.m. And it's 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. that I'm wakey. And then from 5 to 6, I'm working out. From 6 to 7, I'm showering. I'm just kind of lounging around, enjoying my morning. But I find that I really need 3 hours to get the Nancy time in. Sometimes I might sleep in and negotiate it down to 2 hours. But you need to figure out for you, what does that look like? Now, I'm just in awe of those people that can work out at 9 p.m. at night, right? 10 p.m. They're my heroes,
Right.
But that's not you and I. So with the schedule that you're dealing with, do you have time to work out midday, maybe in between commitments? Or is it something that you really have to knock out early before the day starts?
I think it would have to be early would be my best chance. I don't really have too much time in between my other commitments.
Okay, and it's like tearing off a Band-Aid, right? You know that. You now know that. That
Yeah.
is what it is, okay? We accept it. We know it. So when does your day start? Generally.
I usually wake up around 5, and it's just waking up and getting ready. Mm-hmm. And then I usually start working anywhere from 7 to 8, and then I continue to my other job.
Okay, well, you and I are like mirroring schedules. So here's the thing. How do you wake up and get inspired to work out, right? Because you don't ping pong out of the bed and go, yeah, I'm going to work out.
Right, right.
I recommend, first of all, if you're not naturally waking up, set that alarm, set it early. Don't snooze, because it's going to play games with you. When it goes off, jump out of bed. And then I would toss yourself in the shower or wash your face. Do something to refresh your body, because the body needs to wake up. A lot of times people will go and have a cup of coffee or drink something to wake up, but that's not waking up the body, the muscles. If you take a shower, if you wash your face, even if you take a wet towel and wipe down your arms and your face and just kind of refresh, I would do that. Of course, have something to drink, get your tongue and your mouth all fired up, and because it's going to be doing a lot of heavy breathing, right, with this workout.
Right.
And then while you're doing all that, even in the shower, even as you're having a glass of water or caffeine, fire yourself up with some music. If you can blast it in your room, do that. If you have to put earbuds in, do that in case people are sleeping in the house. But you just have to take it up a notch. Is that something you can do?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so what's that?
I like the idea of the waking up the body, because that is my biggest challenge in the morning.
Yep. And if you do that, I think you're going to notice a lot of changes in just the way that you get out of bed, and you're not fearing it anymore. You're like, okay, it's the routine.
Oh, right.
And So if you do that, I have no doubt that you will live full out, work out, and look great as the year progresses. So thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the advice.
Absolutely. And for everybody else who's listening today, just like that caller, it's time to take a stand. Figure out what is it that you need in your life so that you can thrive. And so it may be working out, it may be education, it may be hobbies. Let's do it together. Most of all, living full out is about putting yourself out there. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this break with Jeffrey Desovic talking about his story about being wrongly convicted of murder and rape. Yet he went on to live full out with no regrets, not being jaded. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I'd like kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak. Just make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
How about a taxi? 233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Don't you wish that getting your child to eat right, move more, and spend less time in front of a screen could be as easy as pushing a button? It might not be that simple, but you do have more power than you know. And you can maximize that power with proven strategies, tips, and tools from the National Institutes of Health's We Can, or Ways to Enhance Children's Activity and Nutrition program. We Can offers all kinds of resources, including fun recipes and activities the family can do together to show you the way to live a healthier lifestyle. We're not saying it's easy. We are saying that it can be done. Take the first step today. Call 1-866-359-3226 for a free We Can Parents Handbook. And be sure to visit the We Can website at wecan.nhlbi.nih.gov for free information too. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket.
Hit ignition.
And
then nothing. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite. Look out! And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about taking a stand for ourselves. And sometimes that's against what other people say or even circumstances that we feel wronged for, which is a great example for our Living Full Out inspirational guest today, Jeffrey Desovic. He was wrongfully convicted of murder and rape charges at 17. Imagine being 17. That's when you're getting your license, you're dating, going to school, you're not being convicted of murder and rape. I can only imagine how terrified he was and confused. So I'm going to let him share the majority of his story and how that unfolded, because he did get out of prison. He did go on to live full out. But how did he do that and not have resentment in his heart? So I'd very much like to welcome Jeffrey to the show.
Thank you, Nancy. So wonderful to make a return appearance. I got to say, one of the most meaningful shows that I've ever done, just from the theme, Living Full Out. I'm honored to be invited back a second time.
Well, thank you so much for that. You know, we try to make this as motivational as we can for our audience, but also a safe environment for our guests, because these were tragedies, and in your case, a lot of confusion and terrifying moments that you had to live through. So we appreciate you sharing your story. And really, as everybody listens to Jeffrey's story today, this could be you. This could be your brother, your father, your friend. So we want to listen to his story and try to figure out, you know, how can we make the system better? You know, how can we not fall into the trap that he did? So let's take our audience back, Jeffrey, to when you were, you know, a teenager, 16, 17. You lived in a small town, and this murder rape happened, which was pretty jarring for the town because, you know, it just didn't happen there. And you were an inquisitive kid. You were someone who enjoyed cop shows and just the mysterious parts of all that. But you found yourself kind of in the mix of it all. You found yourself being courted, being kind of lured in by the police. Can you share with us about that time?
Absolutely, yes. So the year is 1990. The town is peak skill, population of approximately 25,000 people. Murders were definitely pretty rare there. There hadn't been a murder there in about 20 years. So this really shook up the whole town, I mean, to the point that free mental health services were set up, provided to everybody in the town who wanted it, to help them process what had happened. The whole town kind of like shut down. I mean, their parents were concerned with their own safety, the safety of their children. They were dropping their kids off to high school. They were coming right to the school immediately thereafter, and bringing them home. Even a buddy system was implemented by the school, in which all the students were told not to go anywhere unless they were accompanied by another student, and that, you know, both sets of parents knew exactly where everybody was going. So in high school, I was quiet. I was to myself. I didn't participate in very many organized sports, and that made me stick out. That made me seem strange to the kids in the high school. So in the course of the police investigation, the police interviewed many students from the school. Some of them told the police that they might want to talk to me because I didn't fit in. So I guess the theory is that people that seem like an oddball or are quiet unto themselves commit ghastly crimes. I guess that was the theory. So that was how I got to be on the police radar. The other factor which the police cited is they said that I was overly upset of the victim having been murdered. So I was kind of like a sentimental teenager. This was really my first brush with death, with anybody, you know, dying that I knew. The victim was a 15-year-old immigrant from Colombia who had been in the country for about a year and a half. She never went anywhere unless she was with her older sister or her parents. She lived a very sheltered life. She was in two of my classes as a freshman, one as a sophomore. I knew her name; she knew mine. That was the extent of it. We weren't even on a high-buy basis. But to the police, my emotion or my sensitivity struck them, I guess, as some kind of internal sign of, some sort of sign of guilt. So a third reinforcing factor was that the Peekskill police, who had very little experience investigating homicides, they got a profiler from the New York City Police Department to put together a psychological profile of what they thought that the actual perpetrator would be like, in the hopes that knowing what those psychological characteristics were, that would help them in their investigation to identify and ultimately apprehend the perpetrator. And as misfortune would have it, I happened to fit that profile. So for about 6 weeks, the police played this cat and mouse game with me, in which half the time they would talk to me as if I was a suspect, and then when they would push a little too hard and I would start to become frightened, they switched the theme. Then they would talk to me pretending like they needed my help to solve the crime. They would say things like, "The kids won't talk freely around us, but they will around you. Let us know if you hear any rumors. Stop in from time to time." They would ask me my opinion on different issues pertaining to the crime, and then they would congratulate me on my opinion being important. They made me the center of attention.
Well, that probably felt good.
Pizza. Yeah.
I mean, that probably validated, hey, you know, I didn't have a lot of friends in school, but these police officers, and to you police officers were heroes, you know, it was kind of what you were into.
They absolutely were. There was in the apartment complex that I grew up, there were several police officers that I knew and that I would exchange, minor pleasantries with, but it reinforced a good image of police officers. And I was always taught growing up that the police are our friends. They're there to protect us. Always be honest with them. And then in addition, it made such an impression on me, Nancy, that before I reached my teenage years, most people, we have like a fantasy career of what we would like to be, right? There's usually a couple of them, something we think about before we're teenagers, and then we have a second thought when we're teenagers. So my fantasy career pre-teenage years was I wanted to be a cop. So this unexpected early opportunity to do this quasi-police work was how the police pulled the wool over my eyes, along with my age, 16, as to the absurdity that a 16-year-old would be able to help in a homicide investigation.
We are going to have to go to a break here. Okay, so before we get into how this unfolds, I want everybody to picture yourself as Jeffrey, as a teenager. You're with your heroes. You're scared, though, because there was a murder, and you think that you're just being helpful, not knowing that you're being pinned for this crime, that you're going to be the one arrested for it. So stay with us, Jeffrey. We'll come back after this break. And for everybody else, it's all about living full out and standing up for yourself. That is the focus of our show today. So think about where you might need to make changes, where you might need support, so that you can express yourself, stand up for yourself physically, emotionally, and be strong. Stay with us. We'll be coming right back after this break. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan, and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee, and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way. With just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show. I am excited to let you know that we are now associated with Alexa. If you have Alexa in your house and you didn't know that, go ahead and find Living Full Out because you can hear us anytime you want, and we're there for you to keep you motivated. Go to your app store because we're located there as well. Just look for the Living Full Out radio show. It's important to us that we put out really inspiring programming, but we want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips when you need us most. We never know when those challenges are going to come, when we're going to feel lonely and need that motivation. So just know that when you need us, we're here for you. Check out Alexa, the app stores, or go to livingfullout.com. Here's to you living full out.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we're talking about standing up for yourself in life and what is required emotionally and physically to be able to do that. Well, our inspirational guest today, Jeffrey Desovic, is a great example of what it means to live full out. After being wrongfully convicted of rape and murder in his teenage years and spending years in jail, 16 years in fact, how did he come out of prison stronger? How did he live full out? And today, really sharing his path and his education with others. So I'd like to welcome Jeffrey back to the show.
Thank you, Nancy.
Absolutely.
So eventually the police, they wound up coercing me into a false confession after interrogating me for 6.5 to 7 hours, featuring threats and false promises. I was wrongfully convicted despite the DNA not matching me. And I lost 7 appeals. I got turned down for parole. I was eventually exonerated through further DNA testing, which identified.
Well, let's hold on here.
Perpetrator.
Go ahead. Let's hold on here. Hold on one second. That's a lot of. There's a big mouthful, and that's so many experiences. So I want to go back a little further. So the day that they got you to confess and all of that, but the day that you were actually sentenced, here you are 17 years old. You know, you knew this girl. You knew you were being wrongfully convicted. You know, the judge probably even knew it, but yet you got arrested and you got thrown in prison. During that time when you were in prison, what kept you strong? Are you a man of faith? Did you turn to education?
Yes, yeah. My belief in God was one thing, and I also believed that the legal system was going to correct this. And I also, I was adamant that I was going to keep fighting. I had to keep didn't have the luxury of losing my mind, because I knew that nobody was coming to my rescue. That I was going to have to try to recruit somebody I didn't know to try to help build the bridge between me and the legal help I needed.
Now, I know that you had 7 appeals, but they got rejected. And I'm just curious, what are the reasons for why an appeal gets rejected, in your case or maybe in other cases?
Most of the time it's because the judges just rubber stamp deny. There's an unwillingness to undo all the work that went into a case. And, of course, when you've been convicted and you appeal, there's a presumption of guilt now, as opposed to at the trial where there's a presumption of innocence. So I think that's part of it. So, this what they call finality of conviction. So the idea, look, we can't keep reviewing this. You had your day in court. It's over. When is enough enough?
Yeah.
But then, so there's finality of conviction, but then, accuracy, right? And it's important to be accurate. What good is a final conclusion if it's not accurate? So that's a big issue in the courts. I mean, most of the time, even if you have the facts and the law on your behalf, the issue is whether or not the judges are going to objectively consider the case, or they're just going to reflexively rubber stamp deny.
Absolutely. Now, today we're talking about standing up for yourself, and that's kind of our theme. And you did just that. In fact, you wrote letter after letter after letter. And you did reach out to a publishing company, to an author who wrote a book, and that led to somebody ultimately being able to help you. Can you share with us who that was?
Yes, the entity that helped, the investigator that I reached by accident through the publishing company, I was writing the book author, as you said, that was Claudia Whitman, and she connected me to the Innocence Project, a nonprofit organization in Manhattan that frees wrongfully convicted prisoners through DNA testing. So she connected me to them. She convinced them to take my case, and one of the intake workers also there represented my case several times to the lawyers there. They ultimately persuaded the organization to take my case, and from there they convinced the district attorney to allow me to have further testing through the data bank, and it matched the actual perpetrator. And so I was exonerated and released on innocence grounds, and he was arrested and convicted for the crime.
What a miracle, really. I mean, you're praying for it, you're working towards it, and then finally that day comes. And I imagine there was a lot of gratification, but at the same time, 16 years of your life was lost. And when you get out of prison, it's not like they give you money in the bank and clothes to wear. Where do you even begin?
Yeah, exactly right. They release you without anything. I stayed with my aunt for a couple of days, and then I went to my mother's house, but then she was living in a rural part of New York, and there was really no chance to rebuild my life there. So I moved back to West. Somebody sent me a ticket to go back to take a train and go back to Peekskill, where I used to be at. And I met from person to person, and eventually I almost went in a homeless shelter, by the way. But eventually I found a nonprofit agency that they rented an apartment for me because I fit their mental health criteria, and I had to give them 30% of whatever I made in the course of a month. And so I lived there for a number of years.
Wow. And one of the things, you have this fighting spirit, but I also like to think of it as a winning spirit. And you ultimately did win a settlement based upon all this wrongdoing. How much did you end up earning?
Yes. Let's just say millions of dollars, I prefer not to say the figure, but it's
Sure.
in the public domain. But I wound up with millions of dollars, and I became an advocate when I was released, and I started speaking and writing and meeting with elected officials as to prevent this from happening, going to hearings and doing all kind of advocacy work. And I did that for about 5 years while finishing a bachelor's and getting a master's degree. And eventually, when I did get some money, I wanted to go to the next level. I wanted to free people. And so I put $1.5 million into starting a nonprofit organization, the Jeffrey Deskovic Foundation for Justice, whose purpose is to free wrongfully convicted people. And we've freed 7 people in 5.5 years.
Wow. And you recently got a bill passed that took 6 years to happen. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yes, the coalition group, ironically called It Can Happen to You, which I'm an advisory board member of and my foundation's part of. From starting out with that idea to then building a coalition and building support for it throughout New York State, and we just got it passed. So it's the country's first independent oversight committee for prosecutors, and we hope that will reduce wrongful convictions because it'll deter prosecutors from committing misconduct.
Well, and Jeffrey, we bring guests on this show because they are a good example of living full out. And again, that desire to get out of prison, to set things right in the system, to, become an attorney, to do right, to help people, to further, get innocent people out of prison. I commend that. I think that's really amazing. And I'm just curious, when you look at shows, movies, TV shows, and, there are ones out there that are about people who are innocent trying to get out. Are those movies and shows, are they portrayed the right way? Are they realistic?
The documentaries are. Some of the movies are, but some of the other shows are not. Like episodes where it ends up in one episode and it portrays like it's such an easy thing to get somebody out of prison that's wrongfully imprisoned, and it's not. The average length of wrongful imprisonment is 14 years, and most of the time people that are freeing the wrongfully imprisoned are not law enforcement, it's not the government, it's not even typically people that know that have a pre-existing relationship with the wrongfully convicted person. It's strangers doing the right thing.
Right. And I said this earlier, when you got released, you had so many reasons to be upset, to be jaded, to be angry at the system. But yet, talking to you today, you are such a genuine, nice person. How did you disperse that pain, that frustration?
Sure. So I want to enjoy my life as much as I can, live a meaningful life, and I don't think I can do that if I'm an angry or bitter person. I feel like I've lost so much. Why would I want to, in effect, give away the rest of my life? And the vehicle that allows me to actualize that is I channel that energy into my advocacy work. So that's why I speak. That's why I continue to write, and I do media interviews, and I meet with elected officials and fight for change. And I have the Jeffrey Deskovic Foundation for Justice to free people and work policy. But then, as you quickly alluded to, I'm one semester away, Nancy. I could never have imagined it. I am 1 semester away from graduating law school, then taking the bar exam, and being a lawyer. Thanks to my admission at the Elizabeth Hobbs School of Law at Pace University.
Well, congratulations on that. And as we round out the interview today, because you have said so kindly early on that being a part of the show is so meaningful to you, what does living full out mean to you, given all that you've gone through?
Living full out means to me to make a difference, to actualize, to try to improve yourself, to never stop growing, never stop learning, never stop achieving. Try to be the best person you can. Try to leave the world in a little bit of a better place than what you found it. I'm a dream chaser. I believe in taking a dream and working really hard at it and coming up with a plan and trying to actualize it. And along the way, I feel if you do that, you'll get that one break, that one connection that you need to make the transition and turn it into reality. Don't be afraid to change the method. In other words, we put together a path for that, but be flexible enough so that if a different door opens that leads to the same place, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to take that and appreciate all the small things of life. These are the life lessons that I've learned from my experience.
Well,
and most of all, be true to yourself. Be true to yourself always.
I love it. Thank you so much, Jeffrey, for being on our show today. And we are fans of yours, and we will continue to be. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. And listen, definitely a mutual admiration society. I love your show, and as I said, it's definitely one of the most meaningful ones. I mean, I love the idea that it inspires people and it encourages them to be their best authentic self. It encourages deep thinking, introspection, and getting the most out of life that we can, making the greatest difference.
Well,
just the name, living full out. I mean, oh my God, just something up my heart for sure.
You are just a dear. Thank you so much. And for everybody listening, we're going to be coming back and taking your calls. We will wish Jeffrey all the best. And it's all about taking a stand for yourself, living life full out. We will be right back after this break. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
The following message is about Medicaid and CHIP, free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. Enrollment is open year-round.
Hey, voice lady, give me the mic.
Okay.
Hey, DJ, let's switch up the music. That's better. So listen up, moms and dads out there. There are these programs called Medicaid and CHIP. They offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids. Things like doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and shots are covered. All the stuff that keeps kids like me healthy and in charge.
So, as you can tell, a covered kid is a confident kid. And it means confident parents, too. To learn more about affordable health coverage for your family, visit healthcare.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669.
Yep, you could do something big for your family today because enrollment is open year-round.
This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And Sophia.
They're gonna jump out of trees. You can't stop them. They'll go down the slide head first. They'll make parachutes out of sheets. They'll balance on things that are impossible to balance on, like the back of a couch or a windowsill or a scooter seat. They'll run with sharp objects. They'll run into walls. They'll climb things that won't hold their weight. They'll put their fingers in places where they could get smashed. They'll drive their tricycles down steep hills. They'll bounce balls off their faces. They'll step on each other. They'll jump on each other. They'll invent whole new ways to put themselves in jeopardy. But one of the most dangerous things kids will do happens while they're sitting perfectly still. Kids who ride in a car without a booster seat are much more likely to suffer serious or fatal injury during a crash than kids in boosters. But amazingly, 80% of all kids who need them aren't in them. After a toddler seat and until they're 4'9", booster kids, and don't let them down.
Go to boosterseat.gov to learn more about the importance of boosters. A message from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Have you ever lost a cat? And have you ever wanted to get your cat back after you lost it? I'm Andrew Hoffman. I invented the Lost Cat Magnet. Just turn it on and lost cats stick to it. Just listen to one satisfied cat. That's proof. You should invent stuff too. But remember, don't do a Lost Cat Magnet.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your own inventions or just play some games at inventnow.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the National Inventors Hall of Fame Foundation, and the Ad Council.
We're your pets, and this song's dedicated to those people who don't have health insurance yet. Enroll, we say. We want you to be okay. Enroll.
take. Health insurance is now affordable and covers prescriptions, hospitalizations, and preventive care. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn more.
And take care, people.
Brought to you by Get Covered America and the Ad Council.
To stand up for yourself means that you quiet the voices, those insecurities in your mind that you might not be able to succeed, expectations of others. You want to put them aside and follow your heart. Go after what fires you up, your passions. Dream big. That's how you stand up for yourself and have your voice and express it.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Nancy Solari, and today we've been talking about standing up for yourself. And when I say those words, it's not necessarily the image of standing, right? But you want to think about times in your life where you feel like others are making you small, or you feel the competition is too big, or others are so loud in the way that they're voicing their opinions that you can't even get yours in there. Your voice, your opinions, your thoughts, they're all important. We want to hear from you. I am so proud of all the callers that call into the show or the guests that come on and share their stories. We would really enjoy hearing from you. Feel free to reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. You don't have to stand alone or feel small or be worried and lose sleep at night. We want you to feel strong. We want you to know that anything is possible and that you have the support to achieve it. Now I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. I'm going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, thank you. My name's Luis. Thank you for having me.
Well, absolutely. Thank you for joining us. How can we help you today?
All right, so I have a question here. I've been in the restaurant industry for the past 14 years. This coming up April, and I'm kind of getting a little over it, and I'm trying to have see if you can help me out how to kind of go upon like going into a different direction. I've been trying to go into like real estate and learning about financials and stuff like that. I know it's totally the opposite, but I've been doing this long enough that I think it's time for a change. But I really don't know, what's, how to start or, something like that. So, you can help me out with that.
Well, absolutely. In fact, my arms are wide open to help you because Perfect. I, too, early on in my life had been in the food industry, and I give so much respect to bartenders, servers, managers, you name it, because I was not a good server. I was kind of a mess anyway. I just could not balance those trays, and I always felt like I was running behind, and so I give a lot of credit to that industry. However, it is a lot of times on your feet, go, 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 and sometimes you just want to challenge yourself, your mind, your body in a different way. Now, I was also in real estate for 13 years of my life, so I do have experience in that. Mm-hmm. And the thing about real estate is it's really a hands-on industry. You just got to dig in. You want to consider taking a class to get your license, your salesperson's license, and at whatever amount of time that takes you, just nip away at it because obviously you might still need to work in the food industry to pay for that. So just start that process. You might also consider connecting with local realtors, managers, agents, people in your area, and maybe either shadow them for the day or talk to them on the phone or take them out for coffee and kind of find out what was their path. If I sat down with you, I would tell you how I got there and why I eventually exited. Obviously, Living Full Out got created and all that, but but other folks will tell you kind of the ins and the outs of why they were in real estate and what they liked about it and what they wish they had done differently. Right? Go on LinkedIn, connect with people there. Go on to meetup.com. It's a social networking site where you can meet other real estate professionals or even your local chamber of commerce. They have meetings that you can go to. You just want to allow yourself to be absorbed by that industry. And here's what you're going to find fairly quickly. You're going to find, yes, this is something I want to go into, or no, not quite the right fit, and then explore something else. Okay? But if you try those things, you will be living full out, doing real estate. And then also, the thing is, what I have found also with real estate is you might get into it and love it. You might get into it and say, oh my gosh, this is so much more work. I want to go back to the food industry, right? Because, sometimes we just need a break, and you might realize that what you have right now is where you were meant to be. But you only know that by taking chances and putting yourself out there. So if you feel like at this time in your life you need to take that leap of faith and make a change, I say go for it. Is that something you can do?
Yeah, I think, it's always worth taking the chance, because if not, it's always going to be in the back of your mind. It's like, that, I wish I would have done it, or what would have happened, stuff like that. So, yeah, like you say, if, you don't try it out, you never know if you're going to like it, you're going to love it, or, just stay what you've been doing for the past, or what you only, know what to do. And that's
absolutely
managing a restaurant. So,
yeah, well, the woulda, coulda, shouldas is a scary place to be, but I say go for it, and thank you so much for calling in, and we'll be wishing you all the best, okay?
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. And for everybody listening today, take that stand. Go for what you want, just like that last caller. Embrace change. Don't be scared of it, and you can always go back. That's the great thing. But I wish you all a great rest of your day, and here's to you living your life full out. The entire Living Full Out family will see you in the next show, and it's all about standing up for yourself and embracing what's ahead. See you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.